Do do do. Oh, over the hump. Good morning and welcome to Over the Hump, your Met Comedy Night morning show that is bi-weekly. Yes, some weeks you get over the hump because of me, your host, Stephen Craig, and sometimes hopefully you get over the hump all on your own. Here at Met Comedy Night, we are a show that is from the Maryland Ensemble Theater in downtown Frederick. It is a 501c3 nonprofit theater, so your tax deductible donations are what help keep us going. Sometimes, if you could have had this show live at the Comedy Night stage, it would have been $10 to $12. But it's only like $5 to subscribe on Twitch. We know we got people also watching on Facebook. We're also live on our guest's YouTube page. Elena Faverio, a friend of mine who I'm a fan of. We studied at the Accademia dell'Arte together. We studied Commedia dell'Arte. It was our lens into the physical theater world. We'll get more to that. But we're on Elena's YouTube page today, streaming to three places all at the same time, with 5 viewers right now. And as soon as she gets on, we're gonna have 1 million. Tomorrow night, Strange Times Indeed, with Cliff McAllister, 9 o'clock on Met Comedy Night Twitch. You can call in with your strange stories, bizarre UFOs, scary ghosts, or people have called in to just talk about squirrels looking into their windows. I even get to share my dreams sometimes with Cliff. He'll interpret my dreams. Um, Friday night, 9 o'clock, the Comedy Pigs short form improv show, all online from the Comedy Pigs. Have been around for almost 25 years right here in little downtown Frederick. So please tune in for that. Well, why won't we just go ahead and get to the main event? Drum roll for our guest, Elena. Hello. Oh my gosh, good morning. They did not hear you say good morning. Why didn't they hear you say good morning? It's because my audio didn't get paired right. Here we go. Would you say good morning again? No, 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 no. And one last time, Elena.
Good morning.
Yes!
Good morning, everybody. Thank you for having me. It's such a delight to be with you on this gorgeous Wednesday morning.
Isn't it a gorgeous Wednesday morning? I have been really trying to not talk to you while our little tech has been happening, and at the top of the show where we meet early, and then there's the countdown going off, and so I finally get to ask you, what's up? How have you been doing? What have you been doing for these past, what, 6 years? And also, what have you done your whole life before that? Would try to get as much of your artistic history as possible, and so that way, um, we get a sense of artistic interconnectivity, and then we'll open the line to callers in about half an hour, and then hear some of their shared experience with you, and talk about why the artistic community is important to the artist. It's not just about show day; it's about that spirit before show day, even. So yeah, um, starting from most recent, your YouTube channel.
Yes. Well, So when quarantine happened, I was actually finishing up a show. I had my last performance on
Good that it got
stage.
finished up.
Huh?
Good that it got finished up.
Yeah, we got really lucky. Were literally sort of right at the end of our run, so we ended up missing out on I think 2 or 3 shows. Um, and then of course, like everyone in theater sort of tumbled into this abyss of suddenly nothing, Broadway closing for, I mean, the second time I can remember in my entire life. And I spent a little bit of time sort of, I think, lying like face down on my floor, feeling a bit sad. And then I'm a person who needs to be creative and needs to be doing things. I think like you'll probably.
I understand that for sure. That's why I've started kind of streaming and stuff.
Yes, exactly. It's all about like, I think finding ways to translate the things that we as creators love about creating and interacting with audiences in a virtual and distant world. So I started off with a 2 week run where I created a piece of art every day that sort of ranged from um, drawing to creating songs.
Every day, that's great. I I haven't even been juggling this whole quarantine. So that's amazing every day.
And ready.
You,
Look what I have.
oh my, you have, oh my gosh. You have your juggling balls. I don't
I,
even, mine are in the next room.
all right, ready?
Yeah, I'm
I'll,
ready.
now, Stephen.
Off, but that was the cue for them to leave.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that happened. Um,
Oh no.
it was, it's a fun story. Um,
This is what they don't tell you when everyone's like, "Oh yes, become an artist. It will be so lovely and romantic." What they don't tell you is you'll go meet your future in-laws and they'll be so disgusted they'll walk out on you.
right. I was like, oh, artist. Yeah. So the everyday a different art project for a week, and this had that led into YouTube because you were filming yourself do these, right? Because you couldn't show
Yeah.
someone in person.
Yeah. Besides my parents, who I think got pretty sick of me running around the house doing
Like the old
design.
days, like I made a little play again. Watch me, watch me. 10 minutes? No, it's 30 minutes.
It's a full length,
Yeah.
9 minute, no intermission. Yeah. So I filmed a few things during that time. I found my horoscope said like things that your sign does in quarantine. I'm a Libra and it said, sew your own wedding dress just in case. So I made a video where I made a wedding dress out of like bed sheets and then like modeled it.
That's wonderful. That's
Yeah.
okay. So one of the things I'm gonna have to say about your YouTube channel, um, like the first couple videos I watched, I was really jealous. I was like, you've created what feels like a theatrical experience for a viewer on YouTube. Because especially on YouTube, like everything's like really quick cuts and information, 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 right? And then I go to your channel and it is, you write your own um, little short stories. It feels like, and then you create as an actor, with the camera, and then you edit it, and the final product feels more like you're sharing a short story with me. It's great.
Oh, thank you.
Yes.
Yeah. I guess it's really nice that you said that because I think that ended up being sort of my goal. I have a lot of people who come to my YouTube channel who are like, "What is the theme channel?" Because I think in modern social media creation and YouTube specifically, it's quite common for creators to have like a
Right.
niche.
I'm
I'm
gonna
a big
constantly being doing this and this and this, so keep coming back to this channel for this right
Yeah,
here. Yeah.
yeah. And I sort of decided once I got more serious about making videos on YouTube, which wasn't in the beginning, but sort of happened maybe a month into quarantine, that my theme was just going to be creating art from everyday experience. So basically, the theme of my channel, which does exist, is that on Wednesday, I'll make a video that is more like a YouTube vlog. It's me doing something or speaking about a topic that I'm curious about, sometimes theater, sometimes not. And then on Sunday, I'll make a piece of art, like you're saying, something that is sort of showcasing my skills as a creator, writer, actress, performer, that is somehow relevant to Wednesdays content. Whether or not it's like
Somehow
directly
relevant. You'll link it.
is
Theater
vague.
people
Yeah.
are good at linking things. So let's talk about the musical. So you released a full-length musical on YouTube. Just so everyone who's watching knows, our commercial breaks are going to come from clips of that musical. And it's called I Don't Get Out Much. And you
Yes,
wrote this 2 or 3 years ago, right?
I did. I wrote it in 2017.
It's like you predicted. Everyone was not going to get out much.
Yeah,
This is
people keep
your
saying, I was like,
fault.
this is like, how did you know 2020 and 2017? I'm like, I don't.
Genius.
Yes, inspiration just came from above. No, I think like I I was just really lonely in 2017, and I sort of got interested in loneliness and sort of that manifested in my head as this concept of people who don't go outside. Um,
Right?
and then I ended up writing a bunch of different characters, storylines of people who just for one reason or another are trapped in the space that they're in. And then music came and I thought, okay, it's musical, all right. Well, I'm not gonna question it, you know?
Of course. Yeah.
Yeah.
That sounds wonderful. So I watched it when it came out. I wasn't sure if it was going to be a live thing on YouTube, but I knew when it was coming out and I watched it with Carly. And this the whole time we actually were together for like 45 minutes to an hour on tech, and it's like we can't talk about it. And then I would break my own rules and talk about something about me. It's like, wait a minute, I shouldn't. And anyways, this was my first experience like sitting down and watching a full length creation, really. Like you could watch something on Netflix or something, right? That's like a TV or a film, but this art piece was an original musical that you film people on Zoom, and um and it's wonderful. Carly says that you're really smart when you write, and I would completely agree. The way that you write, it's really intelligent, like connections that are made and stuff. So we both really enjoyed it, and I had to re-listen to parts of it because I was choosing a song for the commercial break. Um, I was bobbing along,
Oh, well, thank you so much for watching it.
of course. Thank you for creating it.
Oh, well, you know, it's so funny because when I create on YouTube, I do think that the creation aspect is a lot of the joy, especially now. Um, but when I write musicals, the creation sort of just happens for me. I know it maybe sounds self-centered to say that, but as a writer, it just kind of usually comes out, and I write pretty quickly and pretty fast. And then the most joyful thing is honestly just watching people embody it. I mean, I
Right.
how amazing that I was able to do a live production back in 2019 in London with the all of the women who were in the virtual production. And then I messaged them and I was like, hey, we have to do it. Like
Hello, the topic hits right now. Get on Zoom, we'll film it.
Yeah, and all of them were just really game and really dedicated. And I did direct and we had rehearsals, but they did a lot of the filming on their own in their own space and just gave these amazing performances. And then from there, it was just a joy to like get the footage and sit there and sort of become the facilitator of this piece rather than feeling like a creator just saying like, okay, well, I just get to put it out at this point. And that's kind of what I love about writing musicals and having other people, step into them.
Okay, so we'll backtrack and get some more history. I mean, you've written a lot of musicals. Um, you've written a lot of. Okay. Am I wrong? I saw a YouTube channel of you giving advice about writing musical. Maybe you just written a lot of music and not a lot
No,
of musicals.
you're not wrong. I think for me, it's just one of those things that like, do you ever sometimes sit there as like a creator and then you're like, oh my gosh, somehow I never expected to write musicals. It wasn't ever something I imagined
Hmm.
myself doing, but suddenly I'm sitting here and I've written three and a half, and I don't know, it is, you're right. It's just all of a sudden happened, I guess.
Yeah. I I don't know specifically in what context in my artistic creation that I had that realization, but yeah, it's just like, oh man, I've done this huge body of work over here. I just did it.
Yeah. Being in the arts for years, this is the thing. I think sometimes, I mean, I've been thinking about this a lot with the arts industries being closed at the moment, but like it's a lifetime. I started acting when I was 8. No, I'm
Yeah.
gonna be 7.
Well, I
That's
know
almost
that now. Yeah. I don't think you
that's
announced it on YouTube, but yeah, I know that now.
shall I? Shall I just see my next video? Just 30 seconds of me. I
Well, this is
started.
live on your YouTube, so now your fans know. We're getting it all out on the
Yeah.
air.
Yeah.
Um, so other than theater and this musical creation that you do, I really love how there's artists who kind of do this other side thing that you may never expect. Because for me, I'm a theater artist, a technical director, and a circus performer. I'm a juggler and a clown, um, which I think people could expect that from me. But anyways, so yeah, what other things does the great Elena Faverio do?
Um, I think I've since I've been on YouTube, I've been trying to share a bit more of my hobbies, or at least intertwine them into my art making. But I've
Hmm.
been trying to learn how to speak Korean for about,
Wowee.
yeah. Um,
I have been wanting to get back into learning a second language during this quarantine. Still not really able to.
it's difficult. It's really difficult, and it's hard to feel. I think, especially with languages, because there's sometimes a steep learning curve, and it's hard to practice. It can feel like sort of like continuously throwing spaghetti at the wall and nothing sticks.
That's actually how I am as an artist.
Yeah.
And I warn people because I feel like I only really realized this 2 or 3 years ago, but now I warn people when I'm getting a piece with them, especially in the theater, and I say that's how I work as an artist. I throw spaghetti at the wall and see what sticks. So I'm gonna have way too many ideas and try way too many things. It's going to happen, and you can tell me nah on this, but I'm still gonna want to try it so I can feel nah on that, and I don't know.
No, I had one of my favorite directors I ever worked with used to say he had his own version of that, and it was like you kind of imagine your character like a long hallway that's full of doors, and every time you have a pass at a scene or an idea with something, you let the wind blow down the hallway, and some of the doors blow open and some of them slam shut. And you just get to see which ones do what. So it's like you're saying, sometimes you'll try something and a door will blow open and you'll be like, oh my gosh, I'm going that way.
Wow, that's a way deeper analogy for it. I need to start warning people that I'm blowing wind down the hallway because I think that'd be even better. I'd be even smarter.
Yeah. Yeah. Sorry, I know it's Wednesday morning, but like we're going straight in on the deep analogy.
Yeah, that's great. I love thinking about it that way.
Yeah, me too.
It's 3D. Well, I guess spaghetti on a wall. No, it's if you see it, never mind.
Both good. They're both good.
Yeah. So you've been learning Korean.
Uh-huh.
Um, what else? Like I would say as an artist, have you done like that? Not that it's not theater.
I think I mean, I don't think that necessarily this would be shocking to like people who know me, but I really value like education,
Mm-hmm.
and not just in the sense of school, because I think school obviously is important,
Yes.
but school can also sometimes be like a really narrow lens through which to view knowledge, because in certain schools and like ways of thinking about education, there's value on like tests and things, and I don't always,
Mm-hmm.
value those things, but I'm really, really invested in like continuously learning things and being exposed to not just art and theater and acting. I think there are people who, as creators, are really content to really focus in on the study of acting. And I think that that's brilliant. But for me, I've always needed to like have additional learning and to get interested in things that aren't just, the study of acting, but to get, you know,
That makes a lot of sense, especially as someone who is a writer, that you continue to expand your knowledge and I love that. I always see myself as like an always student, and there's a lot you can learn um, from your peers, but also a lot you can learn, on YouTube and other things like that. I don't really, I'm a bad researcher though, and I am someone who I put on the blinders when I'm invested in a project, and it's like my energy is all focused on this project. And like even in the theater world, like the shows that I know are the shows that I've done or seen, not the shows that I've researched and read.
I get that. I get
Yeah.
that. I'm also a person who like sometimes struggles. I struggle to read plays. I really can't focus on the formatting. So sometimes people will be like, yes, I've read this play and that play and that play. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm a terrible artist. I've read nothing.
I I can't read plays. I
Yeah.
will when I have to. Um, Someone says there's an audition for this show and you would like this show and you'd be good for it, then I would like read it for the prep for the audition, I guess. Not that I haven't auditioned in a while, it seems like.
Yeah. No, I've done a few, but I feel like there was a time probably halfway through quarantine when I got a self-tape in or something, and I just was like, I don't remember how to act. How dare they send me this?
Oh, I feel like I don't remember how to act regularly anymore. I know how to clown, and like I spend so much time, and this is what's weird is I spend a lot of time wanting that person to person interaction on stage. Like I can't remember how long it's been since I've been in a show that didn't break the fourth wall.
Uh,
Like that, like I'm not in a piece of realism. I'm always in a show that breaks the fourth wall, and and that interaction is what I seek as a performer. So like a film thing, I'm not as good at.
yeah, it's difficult. I had to adjust to that when I decided I was going to start making videos on YouTube, because suddenly you're acting, there's like that green dot at the top of the screen, but it's not, you have to manufacture a lot more in film. You have to think a lot more sort of, I think a lot in like images and shots and what is like the impact of the look of this rather than like there's going to be an actual another person sitting there giving me practical feedback that I can work with.
Right. The you're imagining the partner in the scene. Yeah.
Yeah.
So earlier you said you started acting when you were 8. What or who convinced you to do this acting thing when you were 8?
I'm really glad you asked that because I don't know if my sisters will watch this. I think they're probably both at work at the moment, but my older sister, my older sister's pretty much solely responsible for me getting interested in acting, and she is like obsessed with that fact.
I got her into it.
Yeah. So when I was like, I must have been 4. Um, Alessia, my older sister, was in a production of The Wizard of Oz at like our local Jewish community center. And I remember going to see it and being like so excited the whole time. I was like, what is
Yeah.
this? Yeah, like, and she was up there. See, this is the thing. I think I was fortunate enough as a young kid that I had been able to see shows in New York, and my grandparents especially really valued art and bringing us to see ballets and things like that. So I had seen it and I'd enjoyed it, but I think it was seeing Alessia up there that made me be like, "Oh, I could do it."
Well, if my sister could do it.
Yeah.
I had a similar experience. My brother told me I should do theater in high school. And I was doing band in middle school, and I saw him in Wizard of Oz. That was like the first show I saw him in at the local high school. That's interesting. The Wizard of Oz. Siblings being in Wizard of Oz convince younger siblings to devote their life to theater. So if you're trying to boost your local teen acting club, do a production of Wizard of Oz and cast older siblings.
Yeah. Who knew this was a pro tip for
Yeah,
theater?
don't worry, the Met will be doing it soon.
Wow. Who was he? Who'd he play?
He played the uncle.
Oh, yes, a twister. A
Um,
twister.
and one of the things that today I don't necessarily agree with, he said you could just kind of improv and do what you want sometimes on stage. So he made up a line where like he spit into another uncle's eye, and there was like a one punch joke, and he spit in his friend's eye. And then the story continued to progress. Like that came out of nowhere, and at the time I was like, "Whoa, he made that up." Cool.
Oh my God.
Really impressionable middle school person.
The act of creation, the beautiful act of artistic creation.
Yeah. But
Wow.
like now, like I would never want to change a word or a punctuation of a playwright.
Hmm.
Unless they were in the room and like part of the process and like allowing me to play around with it or something, but I am too terribly adamant on being word for word, and that's honestly how I memorize.
Ah.
So, love that classic Wizard of Oz moment where the uncle spits in each other's eyes. Yeah, it is a new classic. Okay, so hey, we're gonna open this up for call-ins. It's time for call-ins, so if you're watching and you know Elena and you have a story about some of your shared experience with Elena,
No.
then please use that Zoom link to call in. Um, and we'll let you in. We'll go to a commercial break real quick, let you in, say hello. And yeah, that's what I look forward to every other hump day.
Yeah.
um, I'm really hoping I went behind your back and invited someone, and um,
Um,
I don't know if this someone's gonna join.
mm,
So I think I'll go ahead and share a story about you now.
okay. I'm so curious. What is
Um,
it?
okay, so and maybe he'll call in half an hour because I said we'd be on. So Joseph Baca is a friend of ours. We love Joseph.
Love Joseph.
Um, it's 7:30 where he lives right now. So,
What I was gonna say, I was like, if I know Joseph Baca, he's not awake.
right. Yeah. So, at the Accademia dell'Arte, there are these cabarets, and you had performed your coffee store song. I don't know the name of it.
Fish out of water? Was that the first one?
Um,
Or Speak of the Devil? That was the other one.
yeah, I don't know.
One of them.
One of the coffee store songs at a cabaret and or an open mic night at the Accademia dell'Arte, which the school really promoted you creating your own pieces and then collaging them with other pieces and having a night for all of that. Everybody does love Joseph. Thank you, Rich. Um, I remembered the first time seeing you, I was like, "Oh my gosh, where did that come from?" Because you seemed like a very quiet student, and then you were just like so brilliant in that piece, and then not that I thought it was a fluke. The second time it happened again, and I was like, she could just do it at will. She could just come completely alive on stage or whatever. But what's interesting about this, my experience with Joseph late in the semester, we were listening to you practice outside one of the studios. Sounds so weird. And at the time, like I obviously realized I'm not just your friend. I had become a fan in that moment. And we're like looking at each other and we're like, I wish he was here to tell his half of the story because I would love to remind him of this story, and see if he remembers it and what his thoughts were. But we're like, that's her. She's practicing. That's like the way Joseph and I would talk to each other sometimes. It's like she's really in there. Like I'd and like being quiet and like looking at each other like, oh,
Oh my
like
gosh.
in reacting to different parts of whatever song you were practicing, or writing or uh, and and then after that it like became our little thing. Like we were little minion fans, and like sometimes you'd walk into the room and like we would both kind of like jump up and look at each other and like start pretending like we're trying to interact with you normally.
What?
That's the way I experienced it, at least. I would pretend after that moment like I was trying to act normal around you because I was so um I was so crazily inspired by some of the pieces that you were performed during that semester that I became your fan, your biggest fan. Which I don't know if I still am your biggest fan, but I was hoping to be at least your biggest fan at the time. I was in competition with Joseph though, and he's a pretty big fan.
Oh, I see. I had no idea that any of this was going
Yeah,
on.
of course.
That's so funny. That's so funny as well because I think like I remember in Italy writing, like being in the practice rooms a lot and writing a lot of music because I was I was working on a musical then, and I don't remember writing anything particularly brilliant, but I guess I do appreciate that the cabarets were really enjoyable, and I really enjoyed everyone's work in those. Those were really special experiences the ADA does.
Yes. Yes. I feel like I'm not the only student that has said this, but going to the ADA and having that experience kind of transitioned me from identifying as student to identifying as artist.
Yeah.
Um, Rich Cole has commented on Facebook. I want
Uh,
to know if Elena has any memories of Carly and or Steven. So Carly's my significant other, and I had mentioned her earlier because we watched a YouTube show together. But that's what Rich, who's watching on Facebook, wants to know.
yeah, I do. So I was actually really thinking about this um, when we sort of got back in touch during quarantine. I was really remembering the show that you, Carly, and Jess made when you were all three together.
Seamless.
Seamless. That's the name. I was picturing
I was all
my
about
face.
pun names at the time.
It was good. I thought it really worked.
It did end up working a lot, yeah.
I was remembering the scene where you were trying to like hit on Carly at a bar.
Yes, yes, yes.
You were like narrating what you're doing. You're like, I'm at a bar on a Thursday night.
Yeah, because the
Boom.
narration was coming from a sock puppet. So,
That's
so
it.
to paint this image for the viewers who haven't yet seen Seamless, um, we had a sock puppet, and I wish I had a sock near me right now. Um, and so I would talk to Carly, and then my sock puppet would then say what I was thinking. And that was Jess's idea. And Michele Bottini helped us out a lot with that, like actually making it into a whole piece. We had written it out. And so, yeah, I was hitting on her on the bar, and Jess was the bartender. She was such a great bartender. Like, I
Yeah.
wanted to really order a drink. I think we mimed the drinks and that,
Yes.
yeah.
I just remember thinking that the three of you, I mean, are all brilliant creators and actors, but also just had really good chemistry. And I just remember enjoying that show a lot.
Well, thank you.
Oh, you're welcome.
Yeah, then there's the backwards people
That
in
was
that.
kind of scary.
Yeah, we had um morph suits, black morph suits, and then a mask on the back of her head, and then a wig that we tried to see through the morph suit. And then we're wearing our clothes backwards and like crab walking and making it look like this is the back of my head or so, yeah.
Yes, I remember that, and I remember being thinking it was funny, but also this is maybe like a little known fact. People who did drama school with me will know this, but I'm not sure anyone from the ADA will. But I really don't like masks.
Interesting.
I have a massive fear of masks. I don't like wearing them. And people who are really good at them, I sometimes get really anxious. If someone is performing a mask really well, it makes me a bit scared. So then I went to Italy and did, 14 weeks of mask performance, and I still don't know why I was like, this will be a great idea. But I did enjoy it, but I do get a bit trepidatious. And you guys were performing really well. So I remember watching that and being a bit like, come near me, don't look at me.
It was a little eerie. Like sometimes you would be fooled that we were forward and not backward,
Yeah.
but it was awkward and then it was eerie. We're like on a beach or something and it was a fun kind of scene or whatever. Um, but yeah, so that's really nice of you for bringing up good memories of Seamless.
Yeah.
Did we did something together, right? We were in a scene together, maybe? Maybe not. Well, because I wasn't in regular classes. Carly and Jess and I were in our own like little studio And we took a class with the dance professors. There might have been a
Yeah,
time where we did workshops together. Um,
yeah. I think here and there. I do remember another memory that I just had that of something you all worked on that I really enjoyed was when you did the buteau. I remember.
that was the dance class, yeah. And Joseph was in that class with us.
Yeah.
Joseph, if you can hear me, call me. I miss you.
Joseph, call me. I love you. I miss you. Yeah, I remember you singing All You Need Is Love.
That's right. Which people
And I
thought I
remember.
was making up the lyrics for that. I'm singing. Okay, so there was a day in Buto where everyone's like sang a song, and like during the final piece, they had chose for me to sing that song, and there's like a lot of movement happening the whole time, and I'm just singing the lyrics to All You Need Is Love, which I happen to know, but yes, I don't have a great singing voice, and I'm singing these lyrics, and it sound to some people it sounded like I was making it up, like making up the lyrics to All You Need Is Love. It's like, no, that's what they're saying in that song.
You know what? I think I was one of those people. You had me in the first half, and it was because you were singing it really slowly. You were like, there's nothing can say that can't be said. And I was like, what is this? And then when you got to All You Need Is Love, I was like, oh, we're right. No, All You Need Is Love.
Well,
I've got it.
no, I think what was happening was like I was doing the timing in my head. So
Mm.
like I would in my head play the music that was between each little lyric. And so there's like I'm taking 8 to 10 rests. And then I start rambling on again. Oh, we had a smile like this. Like and imagine like taking your face and doing this to it and then trying to smile like that on your own. So like your lips don't curl up or down, you're just flat as possible.
Oh no, it's hard.
So we had to do that. And during the Buto, we would um, be told to do that at random times during our dance, during our movement, which we're like rolling on the walls, doing weird crawls and stuff, and then doing acrobatic like dance jumps and like in sync and then randomly doing that. um, it was a really fun and creative experience.
I loved it. I remember really enjoying it.
Well, thank you.
You're welcome.
Now more about you. More about the Elena Faverio. I keep wanting to say your last name now that I know how to pronounce it.
Well, what should I talk about? Should we talk more about Italy or?
I think maybe so. We talked about Italy, which was during college. We talked about some post college stuff, but what? And we talked about like where you initially started. What kind of bridged the gap for you? Like you got interested in theater, and then you're in your high school years. Was there something specific that bridged the gap to where you knew you were going to study that in college?
Um, Honestly, I think I decided to go into theater because it's what everyone expected I would do. I'm
Oh,
not actually sure I made the decision to go into theater, and I kind of often wonder if I had thought about it more, if I might not have done something else. But I think sort of the thing that answered that question for me is I went to Williams College. So some people may know it and some people may not. It's quite a small school. It's a liberal arts college, and I took most of my classes in not theater. So I took about 8 theater classes out of 24. You take very few courses there because they're quite intense. And I ended up taking a lot of diverse subjects and learning about other interests. And I think it just gave me a lot of space to develop my own sort of questioning, if that makes sense. Like, how do I engage with topics and concerns and the world, and it sort of allowed me to develop like a viewpoint, like a perspective. And I think it really helped me sort of understand myself more as a creator, because I am an actor, but I really identify with this idea of being like a creative. That makes
Yes,
sense.
yes, yes.
And I think a lot of that came from not necessarily the theater department at Williams, but like the overall um, climate at Williams of just like questioning and mining your own interests for perspective and coming up with thesis and things like that. I think that that really sort of got me going as a maker of things.
Yeah, I feel like I identify with you in that way, and um, like I'm not strictly theater artist. I more identify as, yeah, just a creative. What the theater has that gravitates me towards it is it's already mixing up a bunch of different art forms. There's costuming, there's props, there's a set. So I build sets, so that's like it's my second choice, but my first job when it comes to a theater. Um, and then, sound, music obviously is involved, visual arts involved. Talk about painting. It's translated into scenic painting, but so that's kind of where, if a theater knows you're a creative, they want to absorb you because you can do more than one thing, and the theater wants that, needs that.
There's an amazing art form because it has the ability and capacity to be like so intersectional. I don't know if it always succeeds, especially in terms of like diversity and access. I think there's still a long way to go. But as an art form, you're right, it encompasses so many things, everything. I mean, I've done all of those sort of like academic classes where the professor will walk in and be like, so what is theater? And then we sit around and argue for like an hour about what falls under the umbrella of theater and what doesn't, you know?
Right.
But yeah, I agree. And I think something that's really obviously lovely about when I get to work as an actor in a theater is that there's structure and support when I'm working as a creative now in quarantine, but also previously I've worked in sort of like devising my own work, bringing it to festivals, performing at the Edinburgh Fringe, things like that. It's suddenly like you have to wear 100 hats at once, you know?
Yes, yes, yes. Very often you're multi-hatted in the theater. Speaking of multi-hatted, we have a channel point. If you're watching on Twitch, that is a hat thing. If you cash that in, I'll put on a hat, but I don't know if Elena has one. It might force her to do something wild with her head. Um, so that's fun. I think it's a 800 or 1,000 channel points to cash in on that. And as far as multi hats, I typically always wear more than one hat if I'm an actor.
Mm.
If I'm an actor, I'm also helping with the set, or if someone could actually prevent me from helping with the set, I'm also bringing in my own props very often. Being a juggler, like the things that I touch and I gravitate towards and stuff, um, I I kind of want that personal connection to my props and such. So I end up bringing in my own props and adding to the prop designer's props and stuff. But how much? So speak more about that in your personal multi hat wearing in theater.
I think I think sort of historically, I've been very much like you, sort of up through when I went to grad school in London. I was very much of sort of the creator collaborative mindset that every project I worked on, I'd get involved in a multitude of ways. And then when I went to London and I got my degree in acting specifically, it was really an experience where I was suddenly able to just sort of focus in as an actor, which I found a bit funny. And I think something that I've really taken away from both of those experiences is it always pays to understand what the people around you are doing and the sort of responsibilities they have. Because I think there are some people who all of their lives have maybe just acted, and your costume is there and your props are there and you show up and the light turns on and the sound goes on. So I think some people don't always understand the amount of work and time and difficulty that goes into making actors look good, sound good.
You're quite right. I think if you know the aspects of other people's workflow in the theater, it helps inform your workflow because there's always a short period of time for a piece. You rehearse for only a month. It's like every night except for one night a week, and then you perform every weekend for a month. But then, and that's not just for an actor. I mean, like, the sound designer knowing what the lighting designer has to do helps the sound designer. And across the board, the how familiar you are, um, more or less enhances your intuition with your own decisions that you're making in the piece because you can see what other people are doing and why.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And then I think it's also like massively aided me when I want to put on multiple hats, or if I'm in a situation where I have to put on multiple hats, if I'm suddenly, like when we took this show to Fringe, it was me and one other person doing most of the work, being lighting designers, sound designers, doing all the publicity, all the company management. If you don't have any understanding of those worlds, it is very difficult and it feels sometimes like an insurmountable barrier. But I was fortunate enough to have at least some insight that I do think helped me and helps me now when I say, you know what, I want to make a full length virtual production of a musical in quarantine. I don't necessarily view barriers as insurmountable. I'm just like, okay, I know I can do it. I'll just, it's more like I'll figure out how. I feel like I've got that confidence to say I can, even if it's hard.
Yes, yes. I love what you said because I feel like that's what a lot of theater artists do. Specifically, is start the project having no idea how it could be completed, thrusting themselves into the unknown is how it very often happens. And maybe it's just maybe it's just the two of us, but I feel like that happens a lot for a lot of theater artists. um, we'll say we're doing this, and because we said it, we have to, and we'll figure it out.
Completely.
um, let's take a brief commercial break. Um, we don't have anyone calling in yet. If you're watching and want to call in, I'm going to post the Zoom link. But I want to know if Elena has any favorite memories. We said that. Okay. Um, Posting that Zoom link into the chat on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch, so that way, if you know Elena and you got a story to share, you can call in. And are you ready to sing, Elena?
I'm ready to sing.
Okay, here we go. Over the hump,
The hump,
over the hump, a doop,
over the hump.
doop, doo, doop.
For whitewashed walls, a door, a ceiling, a floor. For whitewashed
And we're back. Did you mimic the sound that the
Yeah. Steven's such a good host. He's like, "Are you ready to come back?" And being me, I was like, "Yeah." And then I started making sound effects for your
Well, oh,
transition.
you can't hear it because I can hear it. I have it in my monitor. But the sound that you make is the sound that that transition goes with.
Oh my gosh, that's great sound
What was the
design.
sound? You were like,
Zoom.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
If you're watching, let me know in the comments if that's the same sound. I mean, come on.
Yeah, how'd I do?
You're so intuitive. That's
Oh,
why I needed you on the show, and I'm thankful that you came on the show. Like,
all these
wow.
years of artist training. This
Oh,
is what you can achieve after getting an acting degree. You can
of course.
intuitively understand
You
sound.
you can anticipate sound effects purely based off of the video of what is known as a stinger transition. That's what that's called. Um, I was looking on my phone in the commercial break trying to see if I could cash in the hat channel point. You
Hmm.
need 800 or 1,000 channel points to make Elena not be able to find a hat. I have one. I couldn't do it, so she's safe for now unless anyone else has those channel points. So I had asked you if there was more specifics that we were going to get to, but before that, actually, during the commercial break, you saw the intro to "I Don't Get Out Much," um, and there wasn't a song in that. It was the intro um, that brings you in. There's multiple characters in that, and we have talked about this. If you want to elaborate on it, you can. But I kind of want to hand the reins over to you as far as steering the topic.
Mhm.
I don't know if there's something specific artistically that you might have had an experience that um, you'd like to share before we go off the air.
Before we go off the air, hmm, I guess, I think, something that people will ask me a lot is like, what is your favorite part you've ever played?
Yeah.
You get that question a lot as an actor.
Well, you probably do. I mean, you're really popular and all. I don't think I get that question a lot.
No, but it's, I think,
I've gotten it though.
it's like when sort of after a show, if I'm going to go out after a performance and I'm going to talk to people in the audience, I feel like the two most common questions I'll get is how do you remember all of your lines? And then people will say,
As if that is the most difficult part of it. Someone will congratulate you. You memorized.
what do you think? Maybe,
I
maybe
get
in
out of that conversation as quickly as possible when someone says that to me, and it's just kind of like I don't mean to be rude, but
I always wish I had something interesting to say. Do you know, I feel like I should start coming up with like bizarre methods and go really in depth on them.
wait, so that you have something to say?
Yeah, so I have something to say because people will ask and I'm like, I just have a good memory. I'm quite fortunate as an actor. I just remember them.
Yeah, no, just can we talk about creating the character and that work? Because like anyone could memorize something. It takes some people longer than others. And I don't mean to say anyone because, like, I guess, I mean, you could be incapable of it, I guess, in a literal sense. But generally, if you practice memorizing something, you're gonna get it eventually.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, so the rest of it is what's interesting and what I would like to more directly talk about then. Yeah, I sat down, read the lines, tried to remember them. Well,
That's
good
it.
job.
That's it.
If only you could memorize, you could be an actor too.
Well, it is interesting because then it makes me just think like that maybe people generally don't know like what actors do. And like having gone through 2 acting trainings, I don't blame them. Sometimes I would be in a classroom being like, what am I doing? Like what what is this?
Yeah, it can seem very nonsensical.
Yeah, for sure. So I was thinking about that a lot, sort of like what are my favorite roles that I've done. And then I was thinking as a creator, like I know people sometimes will be like, oh, as a creator, I can't really pick my favorite thing. It'd be like picking my favorite child. But I do think I have favorite things that I've created in my day, you
Great,
know?
great, great, great. What are they?
Um, I really like so of my YouTube videos that I've made, the art ones, I really like Migration, which is a piece that I made. Um, I think people watched it and enjoyed it, and I had some people commenting on it. But so the video I made that week was about my experience in drama school.
Hmm.
Not sure if you've watched it or not, but it was sort of
I watched the first part of it. It's a 15-minute video, and then um, I, I think I watched your circus video because it had come out like I think the
yes,
day I was watching the other one.
since yeah.
That was my
Uh,
favorite, but I'm biased because I was in the circus and stuff.
Did you? Oh no. So here's a question: did you know about the tickets in 1993?
I did know about that. That was a very um, interesting thing. I knew a lot about some of the details of that because in Clown Alley, I was with a lot of people who were huge fans of the circus, who knew all these details and facts. And my boss clown, Taylor Albin, yes, there's a boss clown. Um, he, I'm so thankful that he cared so much to give the new people as much information as he possibly could. And like we go to this city and he'll say like what's important about the circus in this city, and it's like then this group will sometimes come see the show in this city and they've been coming for this many years, and it's like, oh. So I did
Yeah,
know that fun fact about the 1993. So you had a free ticket to the circus because you
I
were
have.
born in 1993.
Yeah, I've still got it. So in the video when I'm holding it, that's actually the ticket. I've still got it. I never used it. I did go to the circus, but I never used my ticket, so I've still got the ticket that came in the mail.
It was in the video too.
Yeah, it's in the video, and it's funny because when I was researching the video, I wasn't really sure how to end it, and I was like, well, let me just Google some facts, and then I that's when I discovered that the final show happened on Long Island.
Oh, you didn't? Yeah, you didn't know that.
I didn't know that. No, that's fabricated, and I didn't go to that show, but I I was really touched by that for some reason. I don't know. I think probably because that show, that piece specifically, well, it's like quite metaphorical about not just the circus, but about like life and expectations and promises that are made um children. And I was quite touched by the fact that the last show was on Long Island. Oh, and you performed in it.
Um, I did not perform in the last show in Long Island. So there's the red unit and the blue unit. So there's two tours traveling by train, and our unit, Circus Extreme, closed 1 week before the other unit. So I was in the last show of Ringling Brothers and Barnum and Bailey Circus Red Unit, but technically the last show just happened to be the other tour. And so I was at home watching the live stream of that with my mother. You
Wow.
know, like, here's the last show again. I already changed my life and was home, and everyone I was watching was going to change their life and be home in like 24 hours.
Wow, Steven.
um, but, anyways, back to what was it? Your favorite creations, your favorite pieces, right? So, so this piece, you were talking about. What was the YouTube video that you were talking about?
Um,
What was your
my
favorite?
it's called Migration, and there's
Huh?
a date, and it's like I said, it's paired with my drama school video with me talking about my experience in drama school. And it's a pretty direct for me, it's a pretty direct link between the content of that vlog and this artistic piece. And what I really like about that video is the audio. A lot of people have contacted me about like the audio in that video for some reason, and it's actually a voice memo that I did. So I went to school in London, as I said. One of my last days in London, I went to a street fair and had my tarot cards read. And I'm not really like a spiritual tarot card person. It's not something I usually do, but I felt like really drawn to it. So I thought, "Yeah, I'm gonna go."
Right.
I had this reading that was just like on like so on the nose. It really like shook me to my core. I was like, what the heck? So I basically left this market, sat down on the street, and made a voice recording where I speak about what was said to me in this reading. And I've sort of repurposed that audio to make the background of this video where I talk about what it's like at drama school and leaving drama school and having to move back across an ocean. And for me, that video really and the elephants and clowns video actually kind of really go to the heart of what I want to do as an artist, which is I guess create things that are uniquely me and sort of sit at like an intersection of something really public and something really personal that I hope can be like theatrical and interesting to people, but also is would not be possible without my voice and my experience and my viewpoint. And I think sort of finding that window where I can say this is what I have to offer has been really interesting. And the fact that I'm finding it through a virtual medium is not something I'd ever dreamed, you know?
A little fanboy in me is like so excited I got to hear that. I feel like you accomplished that. I think it's wonderful. But now we got to talk too about how okay, so you wrote this about leaving your drama school and stuff, and I think that as theater artist, um, you're very frequently changing your lifestyle and like your schedule matches your rehearsals or this new job is in a different location. And one of the things is the second most feared thing in the world. The first is public speaking, I believe. And I saw some survey somewhere, so maybe this is no longer true, or maybe it was never perfectly accurate. So spam me in the comments if you disagree. But the second most fearful thing is changing jobs.
Hmm.
And an actor has to do that like usually around 3 times a year or more.
Oh,
Depending on what you do. But I mean, a theater actor, usually a theater show is up for a month. Um, but depending on the run, I mean, if you're on Broadway, you could have that job for 4 years or something, you know. But you're still that show's going to end, and you're going to need a new job. Like you're there's no security in that. So that's interesting that you have some pieces that kind of capture what that experience was like for you.
I think what you're saying about fear is really interesting because
I mean, I'm not
I
necessarily afraid of it, but more.
no, but that's what came to mind, like things that are scary and like worrisome and like things that are also like required of artists, because I think as an artist, something that really interests me is like fear and question, and sort of like the big unanswerable questions that like art attempts to answer. I don't think art is at its best sitting there trying to like reposit things that society already knows and understands. And this is why like obviously diversity in art is so important, because it brings voice and brings into the spotlight experiences and people that are not traditionally highlighted. So I think looking at things that you don't want to look at as an artist is important. And for me, being able to do that on YouTube has been really interesting, because I've always sort of viewed YouTube as a place where people go for comfort and like distraction.
Exactly. Instead of it being the art that is like experience this thing that causes you to reflect,
Yeah.
YouTube or like other um, social media platforms just view you as a consumer.
Yeah.
Watch this, make a comment, like, subscribe, and that's what I'm doing now. Consume me, baby. Consume me. I'm streaming now as an artist. You better smash that emoji so that they
Yeah.
pop up over my face, because that's how you interact. And yeah.
Yeah. And I think that's the reality too. I've spoken to a lot of people since coming back from London who are curious about what it's like being in London as an artist and going to grad school there. And something that I've sort of had to reiterate to people is like, I think as an artist and a creator, you can't be afraid of promo, and you can't be ashamed of it. Like it's something I've had to. It's been like a big learning curve for me trying to promote my videos on YouTube, and saying to people, please like, please subscribe, please watch that it is part of artistry. And I don't think it's, unfortunately, it's tied into capitalism, which makes it like hard and icky, but
Right.
wanting people to watch your stuff and engage with your content, I think is natural and part of the communal nature of art that we were talking about. Like it's not just about you sitting there in a room with your Twitch streaming, or me sitting in a room with my iPhone. It's about like, what do I want to give to my audience? What do I think I want them to think about or be comforted by, or you know
Exactly. And because that's the question that we're trying to explore, like what can we give to our audience when we work together? So like we're working together now, Ellen and I, it was because we're streaming. Um, then we have this shared experience of trying to do that together, and something from Elena can enlighten me, and vice versa. And then if you multiply that, so you have a small ensemble, you're in this piece where, in the creation of it, now the audience is going to be there eventually. In the creation of it, there's this shared experience, there's this growth, and you grow into like a family a bit, and there's love and passion, but you enlighten yourself because there's other creatives trying to also figure out how can we give as much as we possibly can to our audience once they're here.
yeah, I guess that's one of the joys of being part of like an ensemble theater company.
Yeah, the Maryland Ensemble Theater.
Ensemble theater. It is such a delightful thing, and I think especially now, I've seen so much like artistic longing for togetherness, and how can we create communities, and how can we use art to sort of bridge gaps. And it's tricky. It's not easy, and I think there's also consistently a longing for it to go back to how it was and be able to open the doors to theaters. But
Hmm.
we do what we can, isn't it?
Yes. Well, we're going to take another commercial break so I can show a video of one of your songs from I Don't Get Out Much. And then we'll be right back. How about that?
Great.
Over the hump,
Over the hump.
over the hump.
Yeah.
Day 50. Time for a midlife crisis. My life is over. My life is over. My life is over. My life is over. I should have bought a car with the shiny tires instead of a minivan. It's all your fault I'm pregnant. Don't you tell me to calm down. I dropped the TV on my foot while we were moving. I should have dropped out of high school to become an erotic dancer. I shouldn't have drank so much last night. My life is over, oh. My life is over, oh. My life is over, oh. My life is over. I always wanted to be a star, but I didn't want to be in movies. I just wanted to wear a suit and stand next to Brad Pitt. I want to stroke Brad Pitt's hair and also punch him in the face. I should have gone to Hawaii when you asked. I should have robbed a bank in a ski mask.
And we're back.
We're back.
I taglining what we were talking about before the break. I want to remind everyone that it will be important to go to theaters once they've opened back up. If you don't feel like consuming content online, which if you're hearing this, you're not one of those people. But yeah, to support them when they open back up. The Marathon Ensemble Theater has a season of surprises. We're going to be doing monologues from women's suffrage and a piece called Victory, which will be released in episodes. More information will be coming out shortly. And what you just saw was the song Midlife Crisis from I Don't Get Out Much. So, yeah.
Featuring the gorgeous Erica Everett, who's a wonderful LA-based actress and performer, as well as a member of my Guildhall School of Music and Drama cohort, and is a phenomenal singer and a wonderful actress. So that's who you just saw singing.
Yes, so I had chose the midlife crisis clip so that way we can hear some of the music. The other clips that I could have showed during the commercial breaks, we usually only go to commercial when there's a caller. But anyways, the first song is Love Is. I included the dialogue before that song because the dialogue is beautiful. You're talking about painting an ocean that's 10,000 times deeper than the ocean. And that really resonated with me as a viewer. And then the other clip, I chose Colors. Is it called Colors?
It's called Red and Yellow, but it is full of colors, so I I should rename it.
Red and Yellow. So that song like loops to where there's more voices added and added and added. So it's really nice. And I cut that. I wanted to include the dialogue after it because that's some of my favorite dialogue as well. But I didn't want to include it in the potential commercial break clip because we're streaming to Facebook and there's a curse word and we're
With profanity.
talking about stuff that involves humping.
Over the hump.
Do 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 do. So in one aspect, it would have been perfect. Probably perfect for our Twitch viewers.
Yeah. Well, the great news, one of the great things about YouTube creation is it's online forever. So if you are watching this and you're interested in viewing more of I Don't Get Out Much, you can head over to my YouTube channel and you can find it in my channel page. You can watch the whole musical in one go, or I've done it so that each character has their own individual short film. You can watch it like that if you don't have, 90 minutes to sit down and devote to a long show about loneliness.
Yes, I remember I sat down, but I wasn't alone while I watched the show about loneliness. I just can imagine now watching it alone. Hmm, be interesting.
I watched it with my parents and I was so nervous. I was sweating down like the
Like you're performing, like it's opening night, like you're.
worse. Worse. So this is like the TMI portion of the show since we're reaching the end, but I get quite anxious and I'll get nervous sweats where I'll just start sweating profusely. Do you ever have this happen?
Oh, I do sometimes get nervous. It is a bit more rare for me. I'm so extrovert and wanting people to see what I do, but I love the feeling of getting nervous. If I get that spark right before going on stage, I know that something good is going to happen. Like it's fuel for me.
But it's funny because I'm completely the opposite. And I think what you were saying before about me in Italy is still very true. I definitely class myself as an introvert. I think I'm quite shy as a person. I'm quite reticent. Um, and so and I love to work on things and I'm really proud of the work that I do, but there is always this moment of just like abject terror about releasing things. And because there were so many people involved in this musical, and I just wanted them all to be happy and feel as if I represented them well. Sweating while extrovert is a serious problem for other people. I guess that's true. Like at least I do it like in the comfort of my own home, like within my big sweater. uh, but yeah, I was so nervous, and my parents were trying to enjoy the show, and I was like clenching every muscle in my body on the couch, sweating profusely. I made myself a bowl of ice cream because I thought, well, this will calm me down. I didn't eat it. It melted, and then I dumped it. That's that was my experience watching the show for the first time.
Wow. While you were not eating your ice cream, I was probably also watching the show. If you watched it like right when it came out or something, and now I'm imagining you dumping melted ice cream. That's funny. I would have drank it
I should have gotten a straw. Ah, next
right out of the
time.
bowl
Yeah.
like a heathen.
Like like
When
a
I have
god
guests, when
godless.
I have guests, I can lick my plate if I want to. I'm an adult.
Yeah. Listen, I'm an adult. I can do what I want, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. Suddenly you realize you don't want to eat Oreo cookies for breakfast every day of your life. Coffee does just fine for breakfast. Here you go. Drinking out of my coffee mug.
What does it say?
This is Carly's, and I actually thought about you when I chose this mug this morning. It says, "Have a magical day."
Oh, great. Now I feel like I should have gone for something. I thought white.
Well, there's regular size mugs, and then there are mugs that are slightly larger.
Mm.
Today I was doing over the hump, so I needed a mug that was slightly larger. And my two mugs that are slightly larger, one of them is a cat bowl that's by the bed filled with water. It's got Marvin the Martian on it. The other one is Deadpool, which I used yesterday and didn't wash.
Get repeat mugs.
And the Deadpool one actually has a sticker on the bottom, a circus sticker that a friend put on it because it was my mug while I was on the road. It'd be on my little fold out table with all my makeup and would have plenty of coffee in it.
That's very special.
Maple cream Oreo. That's perfect for breakfast. Thanks, Rich.
It's a pro tip.
And huzzah mugs from Frady Cadigan. It's like eating pancakes with maple syrup. Um, Frady Cadigan is Katie, and she is a potter.
Oh, brilliant.
So it makes sense that she loves mugs. Probably can make mugs. I used to do pottery in high school. Not that this show's about me.
What did you make, Steven? What was your
Oh, hold on. We've got some alerts popping off. Ridiculous Cage just cheered 1,000 bits. Coffee for the win. Thank you very much,
when they
Ridiculous Cage.
You have to down your coffee, right?
I should definitely down my coffee.
Let's down our coffee.
I made a fresh pot today. I don't always make a fresh pot of coffee. I don't know if that's something I need to share with everybody, but yeah, thank you for the bits.
Yes.
So it's about time to let's go ahead and wrap up. I'm sorry, everybody. I know we could do this all day. Ellen and I, we could just hang out. We could keep going in depth with our experiences. Oh, it's this terrible stereotype that potters like mugs. Okay, I'm sorry, Varga. P. Varga. I used to be a potter and I like mugs, so I'll speak from my own experience. How about that? So any last words, concluding thoughts? Elena, is there something? Frady Cadigan loves a good mug.
Actors also.
I don't know.
That's a pun. I got one in.
Actors. Oh, I did not get it. I literally thought I'm an actor. I love mugs. I did not get it at all. Thanks for explaining.
I used my face.
Ridiculous Cage has a mug collection. You know what? You know what we should do?
What?
We should go find a couple mugs and show off our mugs.
Should we?
Yeah, we should definitely do that. I'm gonna spin the brand new Over the Hump animation on loop until we get back. So here we go.
Oh.
All right, you might be still able to hear me, and I'm running to find a mug. Let's see. Oh wait, where are you? There's this one. This one is clean. This is my dirty one. Should get a paper towel, maybe. It's fine. Got people watching and waiting. Oh, Elena's not back. Oh no, Elena is back. Okay.
I have to run downstairs.
Here we go.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
And we're back. Since we're loving the mugs, Met Mug Talk could be another show. The pun, yeah, went over my head. So I'm gonna go ahead and show off the mug that I just talked about, the Deadpool mug. It's got Deadpool's face on that side, and it comes up like a bit of a silhouette there. But then Deadpool over here, and then that's the sticker. I vote to hashtag take back the circus. And so this was the summer before the circus closed, and that was like a big thing. Take back the circus type of thing that we did PRs with and whatnot. But a friend of mine, Julia, accidentally knocked my other mug off the table, which I stole from my aunt and uncle's house, who I visited the second week of the circus because it was Thanksgiving and I happened to be in Chicago. I always used that mug when I was there, and they let me have that mug to be on the road with because I did not have a mug. Because I literally got hired and did not go home. I literally ran away to the circus, which I thought was an old-fashioned phrase. So since that mug broke, she bought me this new mug. Anyways, your turn. Show a mug.
Well, okay, I brought this one. This mug is from my friend Claire, who I met doing a theater program in 2013. And when I was living in London, she came to stay with me. She was backpacking through Europe, and she got this in Poland. And apparently, it's really popular. I feel like I'm on Antiques Roadshow or something. It's really
Right, it's just great. I love what we're doing right now.
the pattern is quite famous for, like, when I show it to people and they know Polish ceramics, they'll know, like, okay, that's from Poland. And apparently her family collects this kind of mug, so she got me one so I could have it, and it made me feel really happy, and she brought it to London for me.
That's wonderful.
I love it.
It's great because, like, now we're talking about mugs with shared experiences with people.
Yes. See, this is it. This is what I was thinking. It's like I grabbed some mugs, and it wasn't like about the pattern, but it's definitely about the people who gave them to me, or mostly that. Yeah, mostly that. Like
I have goosebumps because my next one is also about people. Like, I grabbed that, and it's another. Anyways, did you grab 3 mugs?
Mhm.
You do another one, and then I'll do one, and then you can do your last one.
Okay, so I got this one. It's Cats in a Library.
There's a lot of books on that.
There's a lot
A
of
lot
books.
of books on that mug.
And I like this one because this is actually from my cousin Dylan, who's a few years younger than me. He's like 5 years younger than me. And every Christmas we do like a cousin's secret Santa, and he always pulls my name. And
Oh,
without
really? Well, it's convenient because if he always pulls your name, he doesn't have to keep asking you what you want. He's asked you already and maybe has figured it out. Oh, we have a caller.
Yay!
We have a caller. Quick commercial break. Oh, wait, did you need to wrap up that story
No.
about that particular mug? Okay. Quick commercial break. Over the hump a doo doo. Oh, over the.
Hump!
Never.
Red and yellow make orange, yellow and blue make green, blue and red make violet. Red and orange make red, orange, yellow and orange make yellow, orange, yellow and green make yellow, green, blue and green make blue, green, blue and violet make blue, violet, red and violet make red, violet, don't you see? Red and yellow make orange, yellow and blue make green, blue and red make violet. Red and orange make red, orange, yellow and orange make yellow, orange, yellow and green make yellow, green, blue and green make blue, green, blue and violet make blue, violet, red and violet make red, violet, don't you see? Red and yellow make orange, yellow and blue make yellow, and blue and red make violet, blue and red make violet, red and orange make red, orange, yellow and orange make yellow, and yellow and green make yellow, green, blue and green make blue, green, blue and violet make blue, violet, red and violet make red, violet. You and me make a mess together.
Wait, this is what we wanted. Yes! Hello!
Hi.
Welcome, Katie. You are Frady Cadigan in the chat. The Potter who likes mugs. So you
I do.
go
I do
apparently
love a
with
mug.
the stereotype.
I do. I do also have the picture of Patrick Swayze X'd out over my wedging table. There's no ghosting. Oh my God. Completely different thing. But still.
So,
But yeah,
Katie's,
mugs.
and let me say this real quick. You're involved with the Maryland Ensemble Theater, and you are involved with Oh Crit, the D&D short form improv show, um, performing on the 25th of
We're gonna
September.
try to do our live show, or try to do our live show on Twitch, which
Yeah,
is really exciting, actually.
yeah, your previous stage show on Twitch. So, anyways, did you bring a mug? You brought a mug, right?
I did. I did bring a mug. This is actually from my friend Megan Trail. And it's so funny. You guys were talking about finding your niche, not finding your niche, but finding like what you love in the digital age because of because of Corona. And so I've been going through my mug collection, not strategically at all. Like I did it was just not actually doing it in the way that should have been done. Like I should have planned it out, but I didn't because that's not how I do. Over on my Instagram, I've just been doing like a mug a week where I'm like, this is a mug from my collection. This is why I like it. Cool, thanks. Don't die, bye. And then I leave. But this is the first one that I did from that. And it's actually a mug from my friend Megan Trail. And it's just, I love all of the lines. And it's very heavily textured. Like all of these are like really, really.
So it feels
carbon.
good in your hand.
It does. It's also got like a tulip lip on the top of it. So that's really fun. Flowers are nice. And it's got like a 1 or 2 finger handle, which I like a lot.
Oh.
Yeah. I love it so much.
That's
I just love
convenient,
mugs.
that handle, to slip your fingers in on the other side.
Yeah.
Excellent.
What about your mug? I saw your Polish one. I don't know that I saw yours, Steven, because I think I was.
Well, I only shared this one yet, and then Elena has shared 2 mugs. The second one was the book mug. Did you see the book mug?
No.
Books and cats.
So this was being shared right when you called in. There's also a comment. We need a TNT improv show. That's coming from Met Common tonight, which is likely Kevin, because
like
I didn't make that
dynamite
comment.
or like sipping tea,
I
because I'm
think
good for either.
when he said TNT, I think there was a TNT channel or I don't know exactly what he means. But we need a show, so I'm sure I'll know soon. So I'll help build that
For
show.
sure.
So okay, so I'm next, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll grab another one. Still here.
This mug. It says, "I don't get no respect," which is a quote from
The Office.
No,
Rodney Dangerfield?
Rodney Dangerfield. Thank you so much for knowing that. I don't know why it slipped my mind. Dynamite is the answer to the thing. On the other side,
Aww.
so this mug was actually my great uncle's. I think it's great uncle's mug. He passed away when I was with the circus.
Mm.
And my father, so he lives in Indiana, and my father and brother were going to go to the funeral, and we had planned to they had planned to see my show on the way up because it was convenient for them. And so we had 3 shows on a Saturday and 2 shows on a Sunday. It was during the day that I told my friends that my family was visiting and going to see the show and going to be coming backstage. And I had to tell them why too, that my great uncle had just passed. And then another clown, Dean Kelly, who at the time we hadn't quite started completely getting along yet. We certainly do now. At least I think. And then he had said, "You can go." Like he immediately said, "Do you want to go? You should go." And like I had never perceived or considered the concept of potentially going and not being in the show, but I mean we do learn each other's parts in like specific gags if someone's
Mhm.
needed to be out. And so um I was like, I really can. And he was like, I mean, yeah, legally, they have to let you off, and then we can cover you. And like the whole clown alley like immediately agreed, and then we set into motion within the next hour, figuring out how it could be absent the next day because they were coming to the final show on the Saturday.
Mhm.
And then I, was like started packing the stuff that I needed to do like during the third show, um, and then visited the train, stayed with them in the hotel, and like left the next morning so I can attend the funeral with them. And I was going through his garage. Um, he happened to have this mug, and this is what I wanted to keep.
Mm.
That's so
So this
nice.
became my mug on the train, where the Deadpool mug, the two mugs I chose were circus mugs, where the Deadpool mug was my mug in Clown Alley.
Mm.
So, so yeah.
That's special.
Hmm. That's what I love about mugs is there's so much tied to them. They're
And
just like such a staple in our lives, and
I've
it's
got to
it's
stop
nice
drinking
to.
out of this one because I discovered the last time I watched it, which was yesterday, that there's a small crack right here. Do you know how to fix this, Katie? Maybe you can help me
Yeah,
fix this.
for sure. Loctite, baby. That stuff held together most of my art show in
I'll
college.
get with you after this broadcast
Yeah,
because I really can't let that one deteriorate.
for sure.
So, Elena, you have a mug.
Yes, more mugs.
Yes, I do. I mean, I do. Mine's this one's new.
Ooh,
It's got
fresh
the
mug.
first lines of books on it. It's got like famous first lines. The special thing about this book, this mug, is that it's from my best friend. So whenever I drink out of it,
Yay!
I just remember her giving it. That's
Well, yeah, that's got to be special right now because if it's your best friend, you're not seeing this person right now.
no,
Or are
she's
you?
Syracuse, and we've been best
Wow.
friends for 23 years. And she's a
Amazing.
teacher, and she's going back to school today or tomorrow. So she's been very stressed, sort of trying to deal with coronavirus and setting up her classroom, and she's
Mhm.
navigating that. So I've been thinking about her a lot this week anyway. So it's nice to have this mug and
Yeah, I think it's interesting because sometimes, like, I want to drink out of these mugs more if I'm feeling this way, and then I'll drink out of these mugs more if I'm feeling that way.
Oh,
Right?
definitely. Oh, yeah.
Uh, drink
like
out of,
I show
like
you a mug with a curse word on it or no?
um, I'm
It's not a bad, like, it's
cool
not in the
with
grand scheme
it.
of things. I think you get like one per,
We just won't
it's not
say
like
it.
Okay, it's bitches.
We'll just observe it.
So this one is the mug that I use when I have to go and like actually buckle down and do things. Like you were saying earlier,
Like you're gonna get to work.
yeah. So one side is flowers and they're beautiful and amazing. And the other
I would
side
imagine there's
is,
a curse word on the other side of that mug.
oh yeah.
I can't see that. I can't see it.
Sorry, wrong way.
No, the other
Uh,
way. Up a bit.
there we
Up a
go.
bit.
There we go.
There we go.
I've got it. I've got it.
So
I've got
there, it's carved in.
It's carved too.
Yeah, it's
So
carved in and
you
then
could feel
layered
that
over.
as well. You've
Yeah,
got these. I need a carved mug.
you do.
And I'm the one that would get on Carly like, we don't need more mugs. We have
Always. You always need more mugs.
3 upper cabinets, and one of them is filled with all mugs. Like how many? Like we're, but now I'm even though I say that Yeah, yeah. Ooh, a little octopus. Even though I say that, now I need another mug,
Mm.
a textured mug. All right. Well, you know what? I think we're gonna go ahead and wrap it up. Thank you very much, Katie. And Elena, feel free to stay on the call. I'm gonna switch to my little outro curtain speech and wrap up this show for you. Woo woo! Of course. Thank you so much for joining. Um, Once again, my name is Steven. You are watching Met Comedy Night Over the Hump, the Met Comedy Night morning show that is bi-weekly, because sometimes you get over the hump, sometimes you don't. And that's okay. Uh, Stay tuned tomorrow night, Met Comedy Night. We're having Strange Times Indeed with Cliff McAllister at 9 o'clock. That is a call-in show. You can call in and share your strange stories with him, or even share some of your dreams. And then Friday night, the Comedy Pigs. Short form improv troupe, been around for 25 years now, doing a show online. They did a couple in June. They did a teaser last Wednesday and are back in action Friday night at 9. Also, the following Friday, the 11th, at 9, the Comedy Pigs. Friday after that, Oh Crit, Katie's going to be in it. Katie's not here anymore.